Deep in an alpine forest in Austria, there's a super luxurious hotel. But you won't be able to enjoy its golden entourage, spacious rooms, and breathtaking views this weekend unless you're a member of the world's most elite and secretive club, the Bilderberg Group. Well, their summit has kicked off today and will continue through Sunday. Here is the guest list. The head of NATO, Jen Stoltenberg, Henry Kissinger, Mr. I leaked CIA secrets to my girlfriend, David Petraeus, just to name a few. Here's a few more. John Allen, who heads U.S. efforts against ISIS, George Osborne, and Manuel Barroso are also there. A lot of media representatives, including BBC and Bloomberg, banks, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, and executives from Google and Royal Dutch Shell. A tight tangle of politics, media, and corporations, protected by high fences and an army of policemen. But there's another army on the other side of that fence, an army of information-hungry journalists. Paul Joseph Watson is one of them, and he joins us in the Now. Paul, tell us, what do we know so far about this year's get-together?
Well, the agenda that we've got so far from leaks and what actual Bilderberg members themselves are saying is that they're talking about this war on cash, moving towards an abolition of cash and more capital controls on consumers, which is ironic because three top representatives of HSBC are meeting in secret with politicians and other industrialists at Bilderberg 2015. Of course, they just got caught once again, criminal money laundering, $43 million fine, and yet now they're getting together to scheme on how to impose more capital controls on the average citizen.
It's a common notion about Bilderberg that these people get together and decide the world's future, order, rule. How convincing is it when you see that most of the world is not represented there?
Well, that's an argument that many people have made, that 12% of the attendees are women, so they're not represented. It's mainly old white guys, and it's these, industrialists like the head of Alcoa, who again is the representative of the Business Roundtable. This is Klaus Kleinfeld. He represents $7.2 trillion in wealth, or that group does. He's there scheming with these other heads of corporations, government officials. So it's completely unrepresentative of the people. They say it's a private meeting, and yet it's paid for by taxpayers. We've got 2,000 police here, basically dealing with a handful of bloggers, journalists, and a smattering of, and they're now actually visiting journalists' hotel rooms at 1 a.m., demanding to see their papers, demanding to see their passports, all for a, quote, private meeting, which again is being paid for by the taxpayers.
Paul, it's not even a secret anymore. I mean, we know the location, the delegates, the agenda. Why not just make this an open summit of the elite, the rich, the corporations, and give us a little hint of the outcome?
Well, because they're dead set on secrecy. I mean, they've got a huge perimeter zone. If you venture into it, it's a €500 fine. Possibly 2 weeks in prison. Why is that? Again, because this is where the real consensus for global policy is set. This is not the G7. The G7 is a puppet show for the consumption of the public and mass mainstream media journalists who, in fact, some of them were staying in the Bilderberg Hotel before Bilderberg arrived because they were covering the G7 in Germany. They'd never even heard of Bilderberg. So they're so desperate to keep their agenda secret, which again underscores, and we've had leaks in the past, and in fact Bilderberg members bragging about how they created the euro. So again, it illustrates how this is the real center of power. This is where the real decisions get made, and that's why they don't want any information leaking out of the conference.
Paul Joseph Watson, keeping a close eye on this year's Bilderberg meeting with us in the Now. Thanks so much.
Thank you.